Guys, I completely understand it is so hard in today's society to really get ahead, and most people, especially when they're in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, are honestly behind. At least that's what the statistics tell us. They tell us that you most likely are behind in your journey towards retirement, or whatever you choose to do, you are behind. So I'm going to give you 5 simple ways to flip your money, regardless of whether you're 25 or you're 40. This is absolutely 5 things you can do immediately to flip your money around and get you back on track towards that retirement or towards that goal of financial freedom, or whatever your goals are out there in regards to your money. So the first way is to do a financial audit. Most people honestly know that they're not on track, but they have no idea specifically what is keeping them from getting on track. So you have to do a financial audit. You have to get in there and dig through where every single dollar is going, account for every single dollar and where it goes. So then you can start to look at what to trim, what is unnecessary, where are the leaks in my budget, or where are the big, money drainers out of my budget, so that way you can start making changes. Now, some of you may need to make big changes. Some of you may not need to make hardly any changes. It's just small tweaks to kind of get you back on track. But you will never know unless you do an actual financial audit and account for every single dollar that comes in and every single dollar that goes out, and specifically what it goes to. Which unfortunately means there's probably going to be a lot of cuts you got to make. And that leads me perfectly into the second one, which is you have to stop caring what others think. If you're looking at your car payment, let's just say you got an $800 car payment or so, $600, whatever the number is, the point being you have too expensive of a car and downgrading would really save you a lot of money. If you all of a sudden kind of get a little bit leery about that, like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I don't really want to pull up to the driveway at my friend's house and explain why I downgraded my car, or at work, to your coworkers or whatever the case is. The facts are you care too much about what other people think. If not going out to lunch every day with your friends at work and instead bringing your lunch kind of makes you cringe a little bit, it kind of makes you feel uncomfortable, you care too much about what others think. If not upgrading your wardrobe as often as you're doing it right now kind of makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable and kind of like, I don't really want to see the same clothes last year that I wore this year, or whatever the case is, you care too much about what other people think. And yes, this comes back to family as well. If you're worried about family criticism for decisions you're making to making your financial life better, you care too much about what they think. I know that's hard to hear, especially around the holiday times like we are right now, but those are actual facts that in order for you to have the financial life that you want, you're going to have to get comfortable with not caring about what those people think, regardless of whether they're family, friends, coworkers. It doesn't matter. You cannot care what they think. So the third way to flip your money is to begin investing actively. All right, now if you're like 20 years old, it's a lot easier to invest passively because, hey, you're right, compounding and time is on your side. Just DCAing into a simple S&P fund or into your 401k or whatever you have there at work absolutely works whenever you're 20 years old and you're going to do that until you're 60. That right there makes perfect sense. But if you're 50 years old and you didn't do that to begin with, you unfortunately can't afford to just get that 8% return for the rest of your life and think you're ever going to be able to retire. You're not. You're going to have to get a lot more aggressive, which means you're going to have to put in a lot more effort, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to understand just simply throw it in an index fund and forget about it isn't going to work for you. You're going to have to learn how to actually evaluate a stock and actually make decisions in terms of picking stocks that are going to outperform the market. You're going to have to make decisions on how to become a real estate investor in order to bring in more passive income, because you're not going to have the money needed in order to retire, most likely, whenever it's time to get there, just throwing money into an index fund and calling it good at this age. You're going to have to learn other investments as well. And I don't mean watch a YouTube video or two. I mean actually dig in and actually spend 6 months studying those particular investment types before you actually step out there and make investments. These are all realities. The idea of passively investing works when you're 20 something. It doesn't work when you're 50 something and you got nothing really to build off of there. So reality is that's the truth. And you guys are here for the truth. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'll tell you, oh, it'll all be fine. Just do this, whatever the case is. No, we're here to get the truth because I want you to actually gain that financial freedom. I want you to actually be able to retire on time. And part of that is, by the way, you didn't put in all that work, the passive work, the previous 30 years. So now we got to put in a little bit more work the other end, but it's not impossible. You can absolutely do it. And that's what I'm here to tell you. You can absolutely do it. Number 4 is to live outside the norm. Look, guys, I don't know. The easiest way to illustrate this is I don't know a single wealthy person that does not live outside of what the normal person does. Look at the richest person in the world, Elon Musk. There's nothing about that guy that's normal. Everything about him is not normal. Look through all the richest people in history. They all were not normal. They did not go work their 9 to 5, come home, turn on Netflix or watch the ball game or whatever the case is, and kicked up and just live life that way. They just didn't do that. They all did something different outside the norm. Even look at when you look through books like The Millionaire Next Door and stuff like that, those folks lived outside the norm because they were living well below their means and just passively investing. They were buying the used, Toyota Corolla whenever they kind of moved up the income scale, moved up into middle management or maybe even upper management. They're still buying a used Toyota Camry per se, while everybody else is out there buying the new Mercedes or the new Lexus or the new fancy this, or putting their kids in private school and buying the next biggest house because you need to live in this neighborhood, even though you can get the same school district, just move over here to this neighborhood. It's not as nice, and put all that money away. Either way, regardless of which extreme you go to, super entrepreneur or just the millionaire next door, they all lived outside the norm of society. They all lived outside the way the 99% live. So you got to be okay with being different in some capacity in order to turn this ship around. If it seems weird, it seems uncomfortable, and nobody else is doing it, you're probably on the right track. And the last way to flip your money is to actually plan it all out. Now, you guys know, if you follow my investing channel at all, I always talk about your plan constantly, because that right there makes the difference of whether you win or whether you lose. Basically, having no plan means you're planning to fail. And the same exact thing applies here. Come up with a plan, come up with action steps to actually get yourself there. Now, the plan will change over time. Absolutely. You're going to make tweaks to it as you learn things, as you get better, as things change in your life, as things evolve in terms of the economy and everything else. You will always be making changes. But if you are planning, it means you will be taking steps to get yourself there. You can't get from point A to point B without a plan. Otherwise, you just kind of sit here and you can just kind of circle A, right? Now, maybe I go up here and then maybe I dive down here. So, it's not a perfect linear line all the way over here to my end goal, to my end result for my plan. But at least if I come up here, well, at least I'm halfway there, right? At least I'm on track there. I just need to kind of course correct a little bit to get myself back on track. But you cannot do any of that without a plan in the first place. So you have to have a plan. And this video right here shows you a bunch of really strange ways to save a lot of money. Now, I agree our system's broken, and that's what this channel is here for. It's about retirement, entrepreneurship, finance. That's what this channel is all about. So make sure you're subscribed, whether you're 25 or 65. This information's for you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.